Okay, here's how Miro works. See, it's amazing.
What's everyone doing at David's desk?
Ever since marketing started using Miro's collaborative online whiteboard, he thinks all our other teams should sign up.
Why?
He says Miro's making his meetings disappear. And if every team gets on it, that means even less meetings. They're using Miro for brainstorms, mind maps, customer research.
So could we use Miro instead of having another 100 meetings for every round of feedback?
Yep. You can comment, react to ideas, even leave a recording on the board.
And what about presentations?
There are Miro templates for that.
How do you know so much about Miro?
I've actually been using it all along. I just used a Miro board to plan the best vacation.
Okay, I'm on board.
See how Miro users save up to 80 hours every year by meeting less and doing more. Get on board at Miro.com with 3 boards free forever. That's MIRO.com.
This is Dream Power Radio, the place where your dreams turn into reality. Here is your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Dream Power Show on the amazing Women and Men of Power Network, the world's leading positive programming network, powered by Raven International. I'm your host, Certified Dream Life Coach, Debbie Spector-Weissman. This is the show where we talk about dreams, both daytime and nighttime dreams, and how you can use them to create a life you love. And as a reminder, I'm here to help you understand your dreams. So if you've got a dream that's got you stumped, email me at debbie@dreampowerradio.com. I can help you interpret your dream or even answer any questions you may have about dreams. So again, you can always email me at debbie@dreampowerradio.com. I'm going to tell you a story about a woman. She worked hard to get her education and spent her 20s working her way up to a nice, high-paying job. She enjoys what she does, but there's something missing, a love in her life. She wants to get married, but she isn't sure what to do. She's gone on dates and just can't find what she's looking for. And on top of all that, her biological clock is ticking. So she feels pressure to make a decision, whether it's the right decision or not. Does this woman sound like someone you know? Does it maybe even sound like you? My guest today, Lauren Menze, would say there's hope for this woman. She's got a plan that helps women make the right choices when it comes to finding love. Laura is a professional certified coach that helps singles find, create, and keep an amazing love at her company, Ready Match. She also hosts the Radical Love Summit, has been featured on several TV shows, and is one of the authors in the new book, Ready, Set, Date. Welcome to the Dream Power Show, Laura.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, why don't you tell us about your story? You were a woman who was on a career path and looking to get married. And one day you woke up and realized that you weren't living your life, right?
This is true. In fact, I often tell my clients that I thought to myself, I'm going to own my own business someday, but I'm going to do that after I get married. And then I thought, why am I waiting to get married to start living my life the way I wanted to? So long story short, I was working a job that was very much in the corporate world and wasn't very happy and not feeling very fulfilled. And I stumbled into coaching and built a business, incorporated a business part-time on the side and hoping to do that on the side. But, you know, the universe jumped in and said, guess what? You've lost your job and you're going to have to make a choice. Either go full-time looking for another job in marketing or go full force in becoming a coach. And clearly I went full force in becoming a coach in the midst of a whole economic meltdown. and absolutely love what I do. I have a wonderful life, and even moved out to Denver, Colorado from Chicago, Illinois, because I wanted to be closer to the mountains. And so I'm just living a life that is very happy, very fulfilled, and helping people do what I love, which is helping them find, create, and keep an amazing life and love.
Yeah, and so you have this company called Ready Match, and I love the title you've given yourself, Chief Love Officer. Tell me about that.
Well, I never really wanted to be a CEO, but Chief Love Officer, yes, I like that title. So that's what I do. I'm the head of my company, and I help people find love.
Okay, you say that women who are looking to get married are often stymied by their limiting beliefs. What are some of these limiting beliefs, and how does that hold women from finding their love?
Yeah, so it's simple things that you don't even know you believe, like, well, all the good ones are taken. And, well, that can't be possibly true because you're a good one and you're not taken. So let's find out what else is possible there. Let's kind of break through and bust through some of these beliefs that are actually holding you back. Even if you think there's a great guy out there for you and you also think all the good ones are taken, you're not going to find the good guy, because your real core belief underneath the surface of everything is that all the good ones are taken. So I work with clients to really help shift their belief system, to uncover them first, and then to shift them into something that's going to actually help them get where they want to go.
Okay, well, let's say you have that belief that all the good ones are taken, because you yourself don't believe deep down that you are a good one. How do you help your clients believe in themselves?
Well, in terms of the life coaching piece, so it's a lot of life coaching up front, just helping my clients get clear about who they are, what they want, and where they're going in life, regardless of whether or not somebody is in their life too. I like to use a metaphor. So let's say, metaphorically speaking, you don't know where the heck you're going. And you're just kind of meandering, driving along, not knowing where you want to go or what the destination is, nothing like that. And somebody comes along and says, hey, you want to go to New York? I got tickets to Broadway plays. We can go see museums. We can have some nice meals. Let's go. And because you don't really know where you're going, you think, that sounds fantastic. I'll go to New York. However, when you work with me or with any kind of coach, we figure out what your destination is. So let's say, metaphorically speaking, your destination is San Diego. And that's because you love the palm trees, the warm weather, you've got mountains, you've got ocean. So you start heading to San Diego because you are passionate about going to San Diego and being there. And then somebody comes along and says, I've got tickets to New York, Broadway plays, museums, it's going to be fantastic, come with me. And you think to yourself, that sounds fantastic, but I really want to go to San Diego. That's where my heart is. That's where I really want to be. It makes it so much easier for you to avoid those long detours in life. And in this case, it could be the boyfriend who you were with for 2 years and then look back and go, why the heck was I with him in the first place? So it really helps you to avoid some of those relationships that you probably never should have been in the first place, and you probably just jumped on board because they seem to have a glamorous, exciting sort of life. So why not live the life that you love and let that person who's supposed to be attracted to you see you and want the same thing?
Okay, so let's say you have your heart set on San Diego and you're all established and you're committed to doing that. Then it's time to actually go looking for the man. What kinds of questions does a woman have to ask herself to understand really what kind of man she's looking for?
Well, it's knowing what your requirements, needs, and wants are. So requirements are very much like deal breakers. They're very black and white. They're yes or no. So it could be things like they don't do drugs, or they must love children because I have children. Or you've heard of the whole must love dogs thing, right? So those are things that can make or break things for people, and they're very cut and dry. Either they love them or they don't. And then breaking that off into another list of needs. And it's very important to separate this out, because needs are just as important as requirements. However, A need would create an issue in your relationship if it's not being met. And if a requirement is not being met, it creates a complete problem, like a problem that's unsolvable. Yeah, so let's say you find a guy and he's fabulous in all these ways, and one of your requirements is that they had to be Jewish. And everything else, there's chemistry, there's ticking all the other boxes. They're fabulous in all these other ways, but they're not Jewish and they have no interest in Judaism. And you think, that's okay, I'll overlook that because he's fabulous in all these other ways. And then you get married and then you have children. And now it comes time to raise the children in some sort of religion. And of course you want them to be raised Jewish. This actually happened to a couple. It was in the news quite a while ago, probably 10 years ago or so, where the couple ended up divorcing because they didn't do some due diligence in the front end and avoid a lot of heartache just by being clear about what's a deal breaker for them and sticking to it.
So those are that would be a requirement that obviously if they don't meet that requirement, you cross them off the list before things get serious, before you have that love and that will cause hurt down the line, right? So then you get to the needs. So how do needs differ from that?
So needs have a little flexibility in them. So let's see on a spectrum of, let's say your need is that I need someone to be neat and tidy. Now, clearly you can't be someone with somebody who's like an Oscar the Slob, right? They're neat and tidy, but they can be a little bit more neat and tidy than you or a little bit less neat and tidy than you. But they still have to meet that need, but you have flexibility around that, which means it could create a little bit of an issue, and it's probably completely solvable by having a conversation and making some compromises.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then the final category, I guess you would call it, would be wants. So give me some examples of how wants factor into finding your mate.
Yeah, well, wants are kind of the cherry on top. It's not required, it's not needed, but gosh, it sure would be nice if he were handy around the house. Like, you can always hire someone to fix things, but if he were handy around the house, that would be great. So it's not something that you absolutely need or are looking for, but it could be one of those bonuses.
Okay. So those are the things that aren't necessarily the deal breakers, but they're kind of like if they're there, it's a good thing then, right? That's how that goes. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. So then one of the other things that I know you talk about is the next phase would be screening and testing a potential mate.
Yeah.
So walk me through that. How would that process work?
So after you've narrowed down a few people that you want to date, it's screening them to make sure that they're meeting your requirements, because they're not revealing everything about themselves on the first date. If they did, you'd probably run. So you're going to get to know this person over time, and they're going to slowly reveal different things to you. You know, whether or not their walk matches their talk, things like that. So it's really finding out and having some questions to find out if they actually do meet your requirements and your needs. That's the screening part. The testing part is, does their walk match their talk? And it's not about, oh, I'm gonna put him to the test. It's not like that. It is really about creating a scenario, not a drama, but a scenario where you can find out if their walk matches their talk. So let's go back to the example of they must love children. And they say, yeah, I love children. They're fabulous. You know, I love kids. And you say, great, they meet my requirement. That's fantastic. Well, you want to just see if their walk matches their talk. So set up a date where it's either a family gathering with lots of kids running around, or maybe you're going to have coffee in the park where there's a playground and there's tons of children running around. And you sit down at a park bench and you have a conversation, and then you might notice that they say, gosh, there's so many snotty brat-nosed kids running around here today. Can you believe it? It really helps you understand when you stick them in that environment what their true core reaction is. And it's not that they're lying to you. It's not that they're trying to be manipulative. many times they believe that they love children, and yet it's a different way, right? Maybe they love children when they're seen but not heard. So you have to get in there and really get underneath the surface of what that is for them and see if that's a match for you.
And this is also a way of really having deeper communication with your dating partner, so that you end up having deeper conversations than just the superficial. Let's go out and get some dinner, something.
Absolutely. I mean, it's nice to have some of the superficial fun, but you're looking for a lifelong partner. You want to know all the nitty gritty, and you'd rather want to know it up front and before you are, deeply entrenched in a relationship, because then it's even harder to break it off.
Oh, that makes perfect sense to me. I hope it does to everybody else who's looking for a partner. With that, we're going to be taking a short break here. We're on the Dream Power Show talking with relationship coach Laura Menze. We'll be right back. Want to know more about remembering your dreams and what they mean? Want practical tools to help you really live the life of your dreams? I'm Debbie Spector-Weissman, the Dream Coach. For powerful wisdom you can use, sign up for my newsletter today at dreampowerradio.com. It's free.
Welcome back to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman.
Yes, welcome back to the Dream Power Show. I'm your host, Certified Dream Life Coach Debbie Spector-Weissman, and we're talking with Laura Menze about how to find your perfect mate. So, Laura, on your website, you have something called the Red Flag Dating Checklist. Can you explain what that's all about?
Oh my God, it is so invaluable. The people who download it love it, and I love it. I think it's a fabulous list. It really helps you keep your blinders off. You get into a relationship, especially if there's lots of chemistry, really your hormones are taking over. So this is a little cheat sheet that helps you to kind of balance your head with your heart and your hormones. So they're all making decisions for you. And the red flags checklist is a way for you to check in with yourself about this person that you're dating. So you can use this checklist on the first date, the 5th date, the 40th date, the 100th date, because as you uncover more and more about this person, you're going to want to see if there are truly any red flags that you're not really thinking about. So that could be like they respond to things with anger and frustration, or they blame everyone else for their sad life, or something like that. So it's really a great place to kind of check in for some of those danger signs and investigate more.
Mm-hmm. And so how does someone use this list? I mean, did they just is it meant to be used like as a questionnaire for the other person, or just something to be observed in your date?
It's something for you to go home after a date and go through for yourself regarding that person specifically. And to do that on the first date with them, the 5th date with them, the 40th date with them, because you're going to learn more and more. What you think, if you do the checklist once and it's on the first date, you're only going off of the very little information you've learned about this person. And more could be revealed as you continue to date them. So it's really something that helps you keep yourself objective. You can ask friends, but sometimes friends and family members have an agenda for you. So this is just a nice way for you to keep objective about who you're dating, and if there are truly any red flags that need to be investigated.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, can you tell me about any of your success stories and how you were able to get somebody to go from not having someone in their life to even getting married?
Yeah, there's 2 that come to mind. One is I had a client who was a beautiful woman, but she was still having trouble finding someone. And she told me, Laura, I need to have that chemistry. I need to have fireworks going off. It needs to be va va boom when I meet him. And I said, great. How's that working for you? And she thought about it for a moment and she went, I guess it's not really working for me. And I said, okay. So she went out on a date with this guy and she wasn't really attracted to him, but he was ticking all the boxes. And she called me up and she's like, oh, Laura, I don't know what to do. I am just not really attracted to him. I'm not finding him to be like really exciting in that way. And I said, is he ticking your boxes? Is he meeting your requirements and your needs? She's like, yeah. And I said, okay, well then just go on a few more dates with him and just see what happens. You don't have to marry him. You don't have to jump in bed with him. You don't have to do any of those things. Just go on a few more dates and see what you find out. And reluctantly, she said, okay. And she really pushed herself to go out on another date with him. And then another date. And then another date. And she started to learn more about him. And he started to become even more sexy to her. And the exciting part is they got married about a year later. And I had the opportunity to marry them. So
Yeah,
sometimes
you're
you just got to get out of your
right? Yeah, I say you're
I am.
Minister, yeah.
I am, yeah.
Yeah,
So I was able to marry them, and they've been married for it'll be 2 years this June. So they're doing great. So sometimes we put walls up for ourselves to protect ourselves that we're not even aware that we're doing. And that's what was in her case here.
Well, do you think in her case, she was like reluctant, even though she said she wanted somebody, she was maybe reluctant to really make that commitment?
It's sort of a form of self-sabotage, right? I really, really want this person in my life, and this is the kind of person I want, and he's ticking all the boxes. And it's also, oh crap, he's ticking all the boxes. He's everything that I've wanted. I'm scared to death. And so it was about pushing through some of that resistance that she was pulling out just because it was scary for her. And sometimes for people, it's very scary when they find somebody that really fits the bill of what they want. And it's very different from what they've had in the past.
I would think it would be scary also if you're a little older and you've been dating a while and have kind of settled into a life. And then you realize, well, if I then get into a situation where I'm sharing my life with somebody, that's maybe too scary a prospect, even though they want it and they don't want it at the same time. Do you agree?
Yeah, it is. And actually this woman was in her 50s. So it's absolutely true. We are such extraordinary creatures. We tell the world what we want, and then when it's actually given to us, we go, nope, don't want it, because we're terrified of learning, growing, shifting, changing. Even though it's what we want, when it is presented to ourselves, we many times sabotage it. And having a coach or somebody who has an objective supporter to help you push through some of that stuff makes all the difference in the world.
It's all about stepping outside of your comfort zone, right?
Yeah. It's a big part of what it means to find love these days, especially as you get older. You really have to get outside of your comfort zone and be loving and be vulnerable.
In today's dating world, how much of it are you finding people meeting online as opposed to meeting, this in a one-on-one situation, not online first?
I think it varies. There's so many different ways people can meet. You can meet online. You can meet on an airplane. You can meet at the grocery store. You can meet at a singles event. I'm often asked by women, where are all the men? And I say, everywhere. They're everywhere. Sometimes you just need to give them a little help by letting them know and indicating that you're interested. But they're everywhere. It's just a matter of you putting yourself out there and getting outside your box a little bit. It's not about giving up being a female and wanting to be pursued. It's just giving them a little indication that, yes, please, I'd like you to pursue me. If they get that little bit of encouragement, it'll go a long, long way for them to pursue you.
And you find that sometimes they're reluctant to move in that direction?
Yes, sometimes, many of us women in the corporate world have to put on our masculine in order to work and get the job done, et cetera, because it's really built upon a male-dominated platform. And so we get it done. We have to, be very more aggressive, more assertive, et cetera. However, many of us women don't know how to leave that at work. And become more feminine when we're out on dates and, allowing the man to open the door for you, allowing the man to open the car door for you, picking up the check, things like that, to just feel like we're taken care of, because isn't that what you want? You want someone to provide and take care of you, not to say that you're incapable or meek or submissive. Has nothing to do with those things. It has everything to do with feeling like you're being safe and provided for, and the man feeling like he's taking care of you, like he can do that for you, that
Right.
he's needed.
Right. So it's certainly possible to be an equal partner with a man, but still be pampered at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't mean you're giving up any part of you. So there's a lot to learn regarding masculine and feminine energy, and understanding that a little bit more for yourself, especially if you are a alpha female.
Yeah, you put on something called the Radical Love Summit. Can you explain what that's all about?
Yeah, so the Radical Love Summit is an annual event, and right now it's taking place in Denver. In the future, I have some other locations it will happen. But it brings together some of the world's best love professionals. It could be matchmakers, coaches, sex therapists, cuddlists, all sorts of people, to expand and open up your horizons. And it's an all-day conference where love seekers or singles can come and find out more about love, relationships, and maybe some things they need to shift for themselves. So it's an all-day conference with 15 different speakers to choose from. And then at the end of the day, after you've done some really good opening up and connecting, there's a evening social that takes place where you can just kind of let your hair down, have a drink or two, mix and mingle, and now you have some skill set to go out there and meet people and try your new skills out. So it's a lot of fun in the evening too.
Okay, and so where is it this year? You said it's in Denver. When is it?
This year it's in Denver, Colorado on Saturday, April 27th. And the website is theradicallovesummit.com.
Okay, so that's the website to go for that. If people want to find out more about you, how do they learn more about you?
Yeah, so my website is ready-match.com, and that's my business. And I have been coaching clients for over 10 years now. I've been around the block. So I would be excited to welcome anyone else who was curious to know more about what it is I do and how I can help them.
Wonderful. Well, Laura, our time is just about up today. Thank you so much for being on the Dream Power Show with me. And we've been speaking with relationship coach Laura Menze on how to find your perfect mate. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. Until next time, this is Debbie Spector-Weissman saying, sweet dreams, everybody.
You've been listening to Dream Power Radio with your host, Debbie Spector-Weissman. For more information on Debbie or to sign up for her newsletter, go to dreampowerradio.com. This has been Dream Power Radio on the amazing Women and Men of Power Network, the world's leading positive programming network, powered by Raven International.
We're all looking to make more sustainable choices. But making your own shoes out of natural materials could pose a few challenges. At the Allbirds Innovation Lab, they're doing all the sciencey stuff, like research and testing to create shoes from natural materials, like leather made from plants, eucalyptus tree fiber, and sugarcane. It's not rocket science, it's shoe science. Allbirds is making shoes better than natural. They're supernatural. Find your perfect pair at allbirds.com today. That's ALLBARDS.com.